Well, hey guys, what's up? It's your boy AI Legends, and today I am back with the next part of what if Naruto had absolute or infinite chakra and was neglected. So, without any further ado, but before starting this video, I would like to make a request to all of you guys who are watching this video to come on guys, please subscribe to my channel as I want to reach 10k as quick as possible, and I'm quite near to 7k subscribers. So please guys help me in reaching 10k and please subscribe. If you are new to this channel, then please do so. And yeah guys, for the next part the like goal is going to be the, you can say, 350 likes, and for the comment it is going to be 200 comments. Do that and I shall upload the next part as quick as possible. Right now I'm sitting here and who knows, I might upload the whole series today, but it really depends on you guys, because after uploading this video I have to watch it for some time, so that if the like goal or the comment goal is going to be completed, so that I will start recording again. But since it takes some time and I often get a bit, you can say, bored and lazy, so once I stood up from this position where I'm recording right now in my room, it would be hard for me to get back at it, recording again and all that. So please guys, if you want the next part today, please subscribe as well as comment and like goal. Please complete it as quick as possible so that I can upload the next part as quick as possible. So without any further ado, let us start our video. Last time we left off as we saw that Naruto finally returned back to the village, as Minato as well as Kushina were really shocked to see Naruto, but as well as really, you can say, their guilt just got increased tenfold after what they heard from Naruto, as he do not care about them and telling them about the law of Konoha, that he is no longer a part of Uzumaki or the Namikaze clan, making both Kushina as well as Minato feel even more guilty. While on the other hand, Menma and Mito were not so happy about the return of their brother, as they were simply cursing at the very existence that he had. While on the other hand, Itachi tried to test Naruto with his Sharingan as well as the Mangekyo Sharingan, which Shisui possessed. They were in utter shock when they saw the enormous amount of chakra which Naruto actually had. He had more chakra than even the 7 tails and almost bordering the level of a 8-tailed Biju. While he was not at the level of 9 tails just yet, but the power and the level of chakra he was increasing with, it was Kurama could easily tell that he will reach the level of a 9 tail himself in, you can say, in some amount of time, in few years. And who knows, with this kind of power his body will be able to handle this power or not, as he was wondering if how, or rather how Naruto did had this much power. He did remember about the child of prophecy which his father once told all the Bijus about, that how one day a child shall born who shall unite all the Bijus together once again. And Kurama believed in his heart that Naruto is the child of prophecy, as well as he could sense a bit of power that was bestowed upon him by Hagoromo himself. So Kurama believed that Naruto is the child of prophecy, so that's the main reason he is helping him as well. So without any further ado, let us start our video as Itachi burst into the Hokage's office first and then Shisui, as Shisui simply pouted, as Itachi had a smirk on his face as all the Jonins were there just looking towards them. As Minato speak up, can we help you Itachi? Shisui, as Itachi looked towards Minato and said, well Lord Hokage, I thought about the offer that you presented me some time ago, and I have finally decided that I want a Genin team for myself as well. As Minato's eyes widened for some time, he was telling Itachi to train Menma and Mito before Naruto's, you can say, departure as well as after that as well, but he also saw that how busy Itachi actually was, so he did not bother him much. But now Itachi is here ready to take on a team, as Minato smiled and said, and then he looked towards Shisui as he said, and what about you Shisui-san? As Shisui simply rubbed the back of his head and said, well Lord Hokage, I was simply, you can say, escorting Itachi here by just giving him a small glare as Itachi smirked, as both of them were racing to the Hokage tower, wanted to reach the team first. Whoever is going to arrive in the door first shall get the team, and Shisui lost by, you can say, a small mini second or so, as Itachi had a smirk on his face as Minato nodded and said, well, you can leave now then, as Shisui nodded as he body flickered away. As then Itachi looked towards Minato, as Minato started to ask the different Jonins about the team, and then it was time for Kushina, as Kushina speak up and said, well Lord Hokage, I want to have Menma, Mito and Naruto as my team, as Itachi narrowed his eyes towards Kushina before Minato could speak, as Itachi speak out, well, Miss Namikaze, I believe it cannot be possible, as Minato looked towards him as Itachi speak out, well Lord Hokage, Naruto though the Rookie of the Year, but still, he cannot be placed with Menman Mito. Both of them are the top students, but they are not on the top, and Naruto being absent from the academy has been placed as the dead last. And my request is that I want the Rookie of the Year, Sasuke, and the Konoichi of the Year, Satsuki, as well as the dead last of the academy, even though he is stronger than both of my siblings, Naruto, Namikaze, in my team, as everyone looked towards him, really surprised, as Minato said, and what are your reasons for that? But looking towards Itachi, as Itachi speak up, well Lord Hokage. As for Sasuke and Sasuke, both of them are my siblings, so I want them in my team, as well as both of them had the Sharingan and I'm the only one who has it and knows how to use it, so I will be the best sensei for both of them. And Naruto being the dead last could only be placed under the with the Rookie of the Year and the Konoichi of the Year according to the laws of Konoha, as Minato simply gritted his teeth. He wanted Kushina to have Naruto in his team, but in front of all the Jonis, he was reminded of the laws, and even if he is the Hokage, he simply cannot show favoritism to his family, as he simply nodded as Kushina simply gave Itachi a small glare, but then she also knew about it, as she simply sighs as Minato nodded and said, well Kushina-san, I have to deny your request. As for Menman Mito, you will be the one training them, and in place of Naruto, you will have, let's see, Sakura Haruno, as she had pretty good chakra control, so I bet that you will be able to teach her, right? As Kushina nodded sadly, and then as for Itachi, as he said, well, I see the logic. As for Sasuke and Sasuke, I was always wanted to give both of them to you because you are their brother. And you are the only one with the Sharingan, even though Kakashi do have the Sharingan, but he do not have as much power in it compared to you. After all, you are one of the prodigies of Konoha. As Itachi nodded, and then he said, well, you will have Naruto because he has been declared as the dead last of the academy, even though he has scored even higher than your siblings, as well as Menman Mito as well. As all of the Jonis were watching this, a bit of surprise as well as confused when it comes to Naruto, because most of them did not know about him, because Minato as well as Kushina never bring Naruto out with Menman Mito, so most of the people first thought that Naruto was not their son, but in time when he gone missing, many of the Jonins came to realize that the kid who always claim in the village that he's Hokage's son and got beaten up pretty badly for some time by some Jonins, as well as some of the villagers for claiming such a claim, because according to them only Menman Mito are the son and daughter of Hokage, and they never knew that there was a third son as well, or rather the firstborn of Hokage. But most of them already knew about him when he got missing, because Minato sent almost all the shinobi of the village to find him, to search and find him. Whew. As all the Jonins got their team and finally went off, and now let us go to the next day of academy, as Naruto still arrived, as all the academy was there, while on the other hand Menma was still glaring at Naruto for his utter defeat by the hands of his brother. He did not like it one bit, and he hated it with all of his might. He just wanted to go there and rip Naruto to utter pieces, and this was the same feeling for Mito, while on the other hand Naruto simply ignored their pitiful bloodlust that they were radiating towards him, as Naruto simply passed them, and then he looked towards two, you can say, siblings that were sitting by, and it was Sasuke and Sasuke. Yeah guys, I have changed the name as many people told me that it is a bit confusing. I'm going to use this name, or you guys just suggest me some other name. I just wanted it to be like Mikoto, but it was the name of their mother, so I think Sasuke should be, there should be a difference between Sasuke and Sasuke, so it should be good enough. As Sasuke simply gave him a smile as Naruto simply went past her, and then sat at the, you can say, at the corner of the room, looking, you know, the casual fashion of the main character of the anime, looking outside of the window. As then after some time Iruka arrived, as he said, alright class, calm down, as none of the, you can say, kids actually listen, and then Iruka used his big head jutsu, telling all of them to shut up, as all of them simply shut their mouth and then looked towards Iruka, as Iruka speak up and said, "Well, class, I'm really proud of each and every one of you that I have taught you, and I'm really proud that you have become a shinobi of this village. The life after this is going to be a tough life, and I truly hope that all of you will survive out there in the shinobi world, because it is not a world of, you can say, excitement and love, though it is a world of hatred and bloodshed. So I truly hope for all of you to survive out there and take care of one another." As everyone looked towards Iruka, as it was a speech which they never expected in that kind of manner, as Iruka had a serious expression on his face, as then Iruka gave them a reassuring smile and said, "Alright class, I'm going to tell you about the teams." As then the team started to get, and now it is time for the team. Let's see. Team 7 is going to be under Kakashi and what was Kushina. As you know the team I told you before, and now for the team, let's see, team 11 or something, because I don't remember the names of the teams. So it is going to be team 11, which is going to be Sasuke Uchiha, Sasuke Uchiha, as everyone was wondering who is going to be the last member, and then Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. As after he said that, a kunai went past through his face, cutting his cheek once again, as Iruka gulped a little as Naruto looked towards him with a glare, as Iruka simply gulped and said, "Well, it is going to be the team," remembering the last time that kid did so, telling him not to call him Uzumaki and Namikaze. As everyone simply looked towards Naruto, who simply ignored all of them, looking back outside of the window, while on the other hand Sasuke was looking towards Naruto with, you can say, calculated eyes, wanting to know about this guy, while on the other hand Sasuke was pretty happy for some reason, though she could not explain it now what was it, but she simply blushed a little, while on the other hand here we have Sasuke in his mind a flashback. It was later at night, his brother had just came back home, as Mikoto as well as Fugaku Uchiha were also there at the dinner table, as Sasuke as well as Sasuke were really happy to see their brother. As Sasuke speak up, "Hey Itachi-nisan, did you see this?" as showing him their headband, as Itachi smiled, as Sasuke had a smirk on his face. As Itachi said, "Well, I'm really proud of both of you. You have finally made it. I had no doubt in my mind." As Sasuke speak up, as you know the scarf, as he said, "Well, I'm an Uchiha. What did you expect? There was no way that I could not pass such a pathetic test." As Fugaku had a smirk on his face and said, "Well, it is to be expected from the Uchiha's elite." As Itachi simply nodded at that, as then he took a seat, as Mikoto speak up, "So Itachi, are you going to be a sensei or not? I told you before, just leave the ambush already." As Itachi smiled at his mother and said, "Well mother, according to your advice, I have finally left ambush and decided to become a jonin of the village, and yeah, according to your advice, I have taken up a team." As at this, both Sasuke and Sasuke looked towards him with excitement and expectation in their eyes, as Itachi simply smiled, as Mikoto said, "So, who's going to be your team, Did you told Lord Hokage what you wanted?" As already knowing what to be expected, as Fugaku was also interested in the conversation, as Itachi said, "Well, it is going to be obviously my siblings," as both Sasuke and Sasuke really had a big smile on their faces, as Sasuke simply smirked while hiding his smile. On the other hand, Sasuke simply smiled at her brother, as Mikoto laughed and said, "Well, that is good." As Fugaku nodded and said, "Well, under you, both of them will become strong shinobi. I have no doubt in my mind, and only an Uchiha can train an Uchiha elite." As Sasuke nodded, while on the other hand Itachi simply sighed, and then Mikoto said, "So what about the third member, As Sasuke looked towards his mother for some time and said, "Well, it is going to be the firstborn of Hokage." As Fugaku looked towards Itachi for some time, as Mikoto was also surprised, as Sasuke said, "Wait a minute, the guy who just arrived, that one?" He really, as Sasuke said, "Yeah, his name was Naruto, right? The firstborn of Hokage." As Itachi nodded, as Sasuke speak up and said, "Well, Itachi-nisan, I wanted to ask you, what about that kid? I thought he ran away from the home, according to the rumors we were hearing in few years." As Itachi nodded and said, "Well, there was some problem between his family and him, so he simply ran away, wanting to train." As Sasuke looked towards Itachi, "Well, though he did pretty well in the exam, I don't think that he's on my level." As Itachi looked towards Sasuke and said, "Well, little brother, don't underestimate him. I knew about him when he was here, and I have fought him today, and to be honest, I can easily tell he can take both of you on at the same time and still win with little to no effort whatsoever. This utterly shocked everyone in the room as Fukaku said, Itachi, are you even serious? As Itachi nodded and said, well Nisa, I sparred with him and can you believe it? He even landed hits on me and even caught me off guard when I was using my 3 Tomoe Sharingan. This really shocked everyone. Sasuke as well as Sasuke was sparring with Itachi, you can say on a daily basis for years, and they knew how strong their Nisa actually was, and there was literally no one in the eyes of Sasuke who can even land a single hit on their brother, and Itachi telling him that there was someone in his own class who landed a hit on him as well as caught him off guard multiple times in a single battle while Itachi was using his 3 Tomoe Sharingan, as Fukaku said. Oh really, huh? As really interested in this kid now, while Mikoto said, well, he did have a lot of talent, if I must say. As Itachi said, well, I have finally decided to take him as my student, and to be honest, I really think that he could be a great rival to you, Sasuke, as well as to you, Sasuke, as both of them looked towards each other, as Sasuke said, so I will test his power when the time comes. I don't really believe you, older brother, as Itachi simply gave both of them smile, while on the other hand, Sasuke was thinking about Naruto. Now, let us go to the main time. As Sasuke was thinking about the conversation which he had with his brother last night, while on the other hand, Sasuke was simply giving Naruto glances after glances, as Naruto noticed that, but he simply ignored it for some time. And now, finally, teams started to gather, and now you can say Kushina finally arrived, ready to take her team, and she said, alright, Team 7, come with me. As Menma, Mito, and Sakura finally stood up and then started to walk away, as Sakura was glaring at, you can say, Sasuke, because she wanted to be in that spot with her Sasuke-kun, you know, as it is always fun when you say like it, Sasuke-kun. Well, let us go. As for Naruto, he was just simply waiting as Itachi finally arrived in a burst of crows within the room as he said, Team 11, meet me at the training ground 11, as all of them looked towards each other and finally nodded as Itachi simply burst into the crows as Naruto stood up as he started to walk down as Sasuke stood up and said, hey, hi, my name is Sasuke Uchiha. I believe we are going to be in the same team. As Naruto looked towards her and then gave her a small smile which made her a bit blush. As Naruto said, well, my name is Naruto, only Naruto, no need for the last name. As Sasuke nodded, as for Sasuke, he also stood up and said, well, I believe we are going to be on same team, so it is only appropriate for me to introduce myself. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. As Naruto nodded and said, well, I know about both of you. I heard about you in the village as well. You are the small brother of Itachi, right? As Sasuke nodded and then he looked towards Sasuke and said, and you are his sister, right? As she nodded, as Naruto said, alright, we should go to the training ground, right? As both of them nodded and started to walk away, as Naruto said, alright guys, just put your hands on my shoulder and I will bring both of you there. As both of them simply looked towards each other in confusion, as Naruto said, don't worry, we are on a team and I think that we should start working together and trust each other. As both of them looked towards each other and nod, as both of them simply put their hand on Naruto's shoulder, as Naruto simply, you can say, switching away both of them into the training ground 11. At the training ground 11, Itachi was waiting for his team as he saw several butterflies started to get together. As Itachi stood up, as he saw his brother as well as sister and Naruto there, and their head on Naruto's shoulder. As Itachi was really surprised about this Shinchuin, which Naruto always used, as well as the substitution. It is similar to his own, as he gave them a smile and said, alright, so you guys arriving here at the same time and not wanting to leave one another behind, it gives me a proof that you guys will work together, though I still want to see that how skilled you guys actually are. Usually teams captain or senseis take a test of their team, wanted to see if they can work together, though I already know about Sasuke and Sasuke. Then he looked towards Naruto and said, well, but you being together with them and bringing them with your Shinchuin, even though you can still arrive here if you wanted to, but you bring both of them together, it means that you guys already have pretty well of a teamwork, so there is no need for a bad test or anything like it, though I still want to see how strong you guys actually are. So here we have a test, as he bring out a single bell and said, well, you guys have to take this bell from me. If you guys are able to do so, then the things would be different. As he smiled under his, you can say, in his mind and said, well, here's your task. I want to see how strong you guys actually are. As Sasuke looked towards Itachi with smirk and said, alright, big brother, it's about time for you to get surprised and impressed with my power. As Sasuke was also excited, as Naruto simply gave Itachi a small smile, as Itachi had his eyes on Naruto, wanted to see the power of this kid. As then Itachi said, alright, on 3, 1, 2, 3. As he said that, all three of them simply vanished into the, you can say, forest nearby, as Itachi was still there as he activated his Sharingan, ready for anything. As all three of them were in the forest, as Sasuke was looking for any opening, already knowing that his brother has already activated his Sharingan. And as for Sasuke, he already activated his Sharingan, though Itachi didn't know about it, as well as Sasuke. Also, both of them had the Sharingan. Two Tomoes in, you can say, in one of their eyes and one Tomoe in the other. Though Sasuke had both, you can say, two Tomoes in both of his eyes, as he was pretty impressed with himself, while on the other hand, Sasuke had one Tomoe in one eye and two Tomoe on the other eye. As Sasuke was surprised when someone was behind him, as he was in pretty surprised, he did not even sense the guy. But before he could say anything, Naruto put his hand on his mouth and said, shh, as giving him a signal not to speak, and then Naruto simply cinched in with Sasuke to Sasuke location, who already activated her Sharingan, looking towards Itachi, ready for any opening. As she was also surprised when butterflies started to get together, and then Naruto as well as Sasuke, her brother, arrived. As Sasuke was pretty surprised, as then she said, Naruto-kun, what are you doing here? As Sasuke also wanted to speak, so Naruto simply removed his hand as Sasuke said, what is it? Why did you do that? As Naruto said, just relax guys. Well, I wanted to say that this test, even though Itachi has already told us that how he had already passed it, and just want to see that how the level of power we actually have. But I think it's a diversion. It is always said in the shinobi world, look underneath the underneath. He has already given us the purpose of the many tests which shinobis take, so I believe that he's still testing us to see that if we are just given a relief that we have already passed, and he just want to test us if we are in that situation are ready to work together or not. Even in a situation we are just being relieved, while the other shinobis do not give such a relief to such a Ganesh, as there is still one bell. So I think that it is a diversion. There is still a test. He's still testing us. If we can work together, we are still Ganesh. I know that both of you are strong, and looking towards both of you, I can tell both of you already have your Sharingan. As both of them look towards each other, looking into two Tomoe and one Tomoe in eyes, as Sasuke smirked towards Sasuke, as Sasuke simply pouted, already knowing that her brother was teasing her for having one Tomoe in one eye. As Naruto said, well, I believe that it's a test, and we have to work together in it as well to pass this exam, as Itachi has already told us that it is about mainly teamwork, and he wants to test how strong we guys actually are. As Sasuke and Sasuke look towards each other for some time, they already know how strong their brother actually was, and he had already activated his Sharingan, so there was no point of attacking him because he can put both of them in a Genjutsu in a single glance, while on the other hand both of them didn't know about the power of Naruto. But their brother told them that how Naruto was able to sneak on him even with his activated Sharingan, which both of them had a hard time believing. But they wanted to know that how strong this guy actually was, and wanted to get their brother off guard and get the bell. As Naruto said, alright team, so are we ready for the teamwork and take Itachi sensei down? As both of them looked towards each other and smiled and said, alright, we are ready. Our brother think that he can trick us, wanted to see our skills. What a bullshit, he already fought against you last day, didn't he? Sasuke speak up. As Naruto nodded, and he already know about our skills, so there is no, you can say, there's no point testing our skills because he already tested you and he already know about our power. So this must be a test. As Sasuke simply pouted at that, as Sasuke smirked because Naruto gave an explanation, he also figured out something while Sasuke did not did anything. As Sasuke said, don't worry, I will get the bell and get the better of you this time. As Sasuke said, we shall see about it, little sister. As Naruto said, alright guys, that is enough. So here's the plan. As both of them, all of them, started to make up a plan, as Itachi was thinking, as his thinking in his mind, I wonder if they can get the meaning of this small test. If they are not able to work together, then I suppose I have to send all of them back to the academy. But I do wonder about the power of Naruto. Last day he did not show me anything, and I have a feeling that my siblings are trying to hide some things from me. But let's see what they can actually do. As Itachi's eyes widened when multiple kunai started to rush towards him, as Itachi simply smiled as he started to dodge all of them. But then his eyes widened when suddenly a seal was spread across a kunai as it started to get multiplied. But it did not stop there, as then another seal started to glow in it, as then the chakra started to envelop in the kunais as Itachi smiled, already knowing who this guy actually was, as it was the wind chakra. He barely dodged a single one of them as he leaped away as he said, so he used seal so that my Sharingan could not spot the chakra that was around it in the last second. I have to dodge it. Pretty impressive, Naruto. But then he had to duck a kick from behind as it was Sasuke with a smirk on his face as Itachi smiled when he looked towards the two Tomoe Sharingan in the eyes of Sasuke as Itachi said, so little brother, it seemed that you have activated your Sharingan and did not bother to tell me, huh? As Sasuke smirked and said, well, a shinobi always has their secrets. Wouldn't you agree, older brother? As Itachi simply smirked as he kicked Sasuke away, but Sasuke jumped into the air, dodging the attack and then flipping away. As then, Itachi quickly had to, jump away when a big fireball was coming towards him. It was, used by Sasuke. As Itachi smirked, but then he landed. Then chakra chains burst from the ground, ready to wrap around Itachi as Itachi burst into crows once again. As Naruto said, substitution, as Itachi arrived in front of Naruto ready to kick him as he kicked Naruto away, but then he burst into butterflies as Itachi's eyes widened, and then Naruto once again the chain started to grab Itachi, but Itachi flipped away as he goes through hand signs looking towards his siblings that were rushing towards him as he said, fast style, Phoenix Flash Jutsu, as multiple small fireballs started to rush towards both Sasuke and Sasuke as both of them had to dodge using their Sharingan as Sasuke copied the jutsu as he said, fast style, Phoenix Flash Jutsu, as small fireballs started to rush towards Itachi as Itachi smiled, seeing his brother copying his jutsu, but Itachi was far more experienced than this as he was able to dodge each and every one of them as Sasuke gritted her teeth, already knowing that Sasuke was showing her up, but Sasuke was still not able to get Itachi off guard as Itachi leaped towards Sasuke, ready to engage in a taijutsu battle, but Sasuke was also ready as his Sharingan glowed as he started to engage in a battle, but it was a bad, as he quickly got overpowered, but then Sasuke also joined within a battle as both of them trying to land hits at Itachi, but it was not working, and then Sasuke then moved back as he said, fast style, fireball jutsu, as Sasuke also go through the same hand sign, fireball jutsu as a big fireball engulfed Itachi as Itachi was screaming in pain and agony as both Sasuke and Sasuke looked towards their brother in pure utter horror as they could not believe it, as then Itachi simply burst into nothingness as sand was flowing. The corpse of Itachi were on the ground as both Sasuke as well as Sasuke's eyes widened as both of them were at the edge of tears, but then suddenly they felt the whole world shaking and then they were snapped out of a Genjutsu as Sasuke said, but when? We are using our Sharingan as Naruto was behind both of them, his hands on their shoulder as he said, pay attention, your brother is a Genjutsu specialist. He can put both of you in a Genjutsu even if you guys have your Sharingan. As both of them looked back to see Naruto who was standing there. As Naruto said, well, I disrupt the Genjutsu. Real Itachi is there. As Itachi was fighting off against several clones who were trying to take him down, as well as the chakra chains that were coming at the back of them, ready to wrap around Itachi while Itachi was evading all of them. It were 5 shadow clones. As Sasuke said, damn it, I almost got scared there, as Sasuke agreed with that, as Naruto simply looked towards both of them amused and said, alright guys, are you ready for the main part of our plan? As Sasuke nodded as well as Sasuke, as both of them nodded at each other and went off, as Naruto said, alright Itachi, it's about time for our battle, so are you ready? You wanted to engage me in a battle, didn't you? As Itachi looked towards him, dispelling his last shadow clone as he said, alright Naruto-san, though I must say that my siblings are pretty impressive. I did not knew that both of them had Sharingan, but still, I was able to put both of them in a Genjutsu. So, I believe they have a long way to go while using the Sharingan, as Naruto smirked and said, well, Talking about Sharingan, wouldn't you like to fight me at the same plane, wouldn't you, Itachi-san? As Itachi looked towards Naruto, a bit confused, as Naruto smirked, and then Naruto's eyes started to change as Itachi's eyes widened, as his stoic face now showing shocked, utter shock in his eyes, as Naruto had 3 Tomoe Sharingan in his eyes, as Itachi said, "What? How? It cannot be." But before he could say anything, Naruto quickly go through hand signs and said, "Fire Star, Fire Dragon Jutsu," as a big mouth of a dragon started to rush towards Itachi. Itachi quickly go through his own hand signs and said, "Fire Star, Phoenix Floor," as you can say several small fireballs rushed into the dragon as both of these attacks collided with each other, making a fire explosion. As Itachi made some distance, trying to see if it was a Genjutsu or anything, but no, it was no Genjutsu. As Itachi rushed towards Naruto, as Naruto also smirked, as he also engaged in a taijutsu battle with his enhanced strength, as Itachi could not believe it, he was being pushed back, and he could see that Naruto was holding back. He is using his chakra control to push him back, but how? The amount of chakra which Naruto actually have, he possibly could not have this much control over such amount of chakra. It was enormous before. But how Naruto can enhance his strength? As he could feel that Naruto was still holding back, he made some distance as he said, "Alright." He tried to put Naruto in a Genjutsu, in which Naruto, you can say, the ground simply burst open as Naruto was being pulled down as Itachi was there ready to stab him. And a big fireball was rushing towards Naruto as Naruto smirked as his Sharingan swing, and then next thing Itachi knew, the whole world shattered as it was a normal 3 Tomoe Sharingan Genjutsu, not a Tsukuyomi or anything. So Naruto was able to break through it like it was nothing as Itachi looked towards Naruto and said, "Well, Naruto-san, I must say it is pretty impressive. But how do you have the Sharingan?" Still in his stoic face, but still pretty curious about it. While on the other hand, Sasuke and Sasuke were making the trap. As for the Naruto gave them some, you can say, kunais as they were placing it all over the place, around Itachi especially. As for Itachi, he noticed some kunais here and there, but he thought nothing of them. After all, he had to engage in a battle, and the utter shock which he got through when Naruto activated his Sharingan. Sasuke and Sasuke were also curious as Sasuke was thinking, is he an Uchiha? But how? He had blonde hair and he is Hokage's son, and Hokage is not an Uchiha, is he? Did he stole that Dojutsu? But no, father told me if anyone has our Dojutsu, he cannot deactivate it. But how? As Sasuke was also going through the same things, wondering how did Naruto-kun actually had the Sharingan, as she blushed at the thought, as she was thinking, why am I calling him Naruto-kun? It does not make sense, as she was blushing a little. As for Naruto, as Itachi noticed the kunais that were around him, but he thought nothing of them, as he had to engage in a battle. As Naruto said, "Well, Itachi-san, I will tell you after this test. You know, the shinobi do not reveal their secret to their enemies, and right now, you are my enemy." As Itachi smirked and said, "Well, Naruto-san, if you are not going to tell me, I suppose I have to force you. Alright, it's about time that I end this battle." But before Itachi could do anything, as he was about to morph his Sharingan into the Mangekyo Sharingan, ready to put Naruto in a Genjutsu and knock him out, wanted to know about the secret and all, but suddenly a final kunai landed in front of him as Itachi looked towards it, a bit curious about if his brother and siblings were actually missing the aim, or was it on purpose? As Naruto smirked as Itachi's eyes widened finally in the realization when he saw a single seal on the kunai he was about to substitute, when he saw several kunais that were around him in a zigzag pattern as he was about to substitute out of there. But then Naruto said no, as then the seal started to glow, and then Itachi couldn't move, not even a single muscle, as Itachi said, "What? But how?" As he looked around as he finally realized what seal it was. It was a paralysis seal. In this small area, anyone who enters cannot move. Only the caster can move in this area. As Itachi looked towards Naruto, his Sharingan already got deactivated. As Itachi said, so you got me off guard, huh? So my siblings were doing this, putting me in this small circle of there. As Naruto smirked, as Itachi said, "Well, my brother do not know the Fuinjutsu, so it must be you, huh?" As Naruto said, "Well, we have to take down an elite Jonin, not to say a Kage level shinobi, though we have to do something, ready to get you off guard or something like it. Though Itachi-san, I was expecting more than this, but I think that they put the last kunai there at the more fun part. You were about to use that power, didn't you? As Itachi narrowed his eyes towards Naruto, as Naruto said, well, it's about time. As he made a single hand sign, and then Itachi could feel his chakra is being drained at a rapid succession. As finally, he was almost on his knees, but because of paralysis seal, he could not move as Naruto got the bell, and then with a single hand sign, Itachi could feel that some of his chakra was returning as the seals finally glow and disappear on the kunais. Now they were normal kunais as Itachi noticed that even in his fatigue state, as he finally sighed and then bring out a, you can say, chakra pill and eat it, now regaining all of his power. As he sighed, as he smiled at his team, as all of them looked towards each other, as Naruto threw the bell towards Sasuke, as Sasuke smiled at that and then threw the bell towards Sasuke, as Sasuke grabbed it and said, well, older brother, did you honestly thought that you could trick us with such an obvious lie, testing our skills, huh? You already test Naruto's skill and you know about ours, giving us a relief that we are already passed in this exam and then showing us off, huh? As Itachi simply smiled and said, well, little brother, were you the one who came up with this conclusion? Or was it Sasuke? Or it could be Naruto as well, as all of them simply looked towards each other, as Sasuke said, well, older brother, it was Naruto. But then Naruto speak up, well, it doesn't matter who came up with this plan. I think that all of us got the credit because without you guys, I wouldn't have been able to get Itachi-san off guard, or I should say Itachi-sensei off guard, as all of them smiled at each other, while Sasuke blushing a little at the compliment, while on the other hand, Itachi noticed that, but still, he looked towards Naruto as then Sasuke speak up, alright Naruto, I wanted to ask you, how do you have that? As Naruto still had his activated Sharingan, as he simply shrugged it off, deactivating it. I don't know, what are you talking about? As Itachi said, well Naruto-san, we are in Uchihas, and we deserve to know, how do you have the Sharingan? It doesn't make any sense. As Naruto simply sighed and said, well, I was about to tell you either way, sensei, so I suppose I should do so. As he said, alright, it seemed that I have a Kekkei Genkai, as all of them looked towards each other, as then Sasuke said, well, Sharingan is a Kekkei Genkai, but you are not an Uchiha. But before Sasuke could say anything, Naruto put a hand towards him and said, allow me to explain. It seemed that my Kekkei Genkai is more related to chakra. If any person who has a specific attack or any Kekkei Genkai which can make contact with my body or with my chakra, then my chakra can replicate that amount of, or rather that type of specific chakra. Sasuke was a bit confused as well as Sasuke, while on the other hand Itachi was going through all type of possibilities. With such a powerful Kekkei Genkai, it outclasses Sharingan in every possible way. But before Sasuke could ask anything, Naruto speak up, well, for example, Itachi-san here, last day he tried to put me in a Genjutsu of, or rather, should I say it like this, all the Kekkei Genkai, especially the Sharingan, has a specific or different type of chakra which actually the clan members hold. For example, you, Sasuke, as well as Itachi sensei here, you guys have a different type of chakra, or rather different signature of chakra to the other normal people here. That is the main reason or the main chakra which activate the dojutsu, the Sharingan in your eyes. If you and I have a different type of chakra, if your chakra make contact with my chakra, then my chakra can replicate the chakra type of your eyes, or rather replicate the very Kekkei Genkai which makes the Sharingan itself, though obtaining the same type of chakra as you and activating the Sharingan itself. Now Sasuke as well as Sasuke's eyes widened in realization. In short, he was saying that he can copy any Kekkei Genkai if they use their Kekkei Genkai against him. As Sasuke said, but how did you get that chakra? As Naruto said, well, it was easy. Last day, Itachi sensei tried to put me in a Sharingan Genjutsu, thus forcing his chakra over my mind, and thus my chakra made contact with his Sharingan chakra, giving me the same dojutsu as his, easy as that. As Itachi looked towards Naruto and said, such a Kekkei Genkai is really powerful, I must say. I dare say it is even possible or even stronger than the Sharingan itself. As Sasuke said, oh really now, huh? So you have our clan dojutsu now. Sasuke said, well, it is quite amazing. Now our team have the Sharingan, all of us. Now we can also reach new levels of power together. As Itachi smiled, as Sasuke was a bit unsure about it, but still, he shook his head, thinking that Naruto is finally a worthy rival. Still having the mindset that Uchihas are elite and only an Uchiha can defeat an Uchiha. And Naruto did not steal the eye from any of his clan member. It is his Kekkei Genkai, his birthright, so he did not bother about it that much. After all, he do have his true Tomoe Sharingan. As for Naruto, he looked towards Itachi. As Itachi said, alright team, it's about time we get this exercise over with. All of you pass, and I'm really proud of each and every one of you. As then he looked towards his sibling and said, well, you should guys go back to home. I have something to discuss with Naruto. As both Sasuke and Sasuke looked towards Itachi for some time and then nodded and went off. As then, before Naruto can get away, as Itachi said, Naruto-san. As Naruto looked towards Itachi and said, what is it, sensei? As Itachi sighed and said, do you have do's as well, huh? As Naruto looked towards Itachi for some time and smiled and said, well, if you're talking about this, as Naruto's eyes started to rotate and activated the Mangekyo Sharingan. As Itachi looked towards Naruto and said, well, I would advise you to not use those eyes. I don't know about it, but for us Uchihas, if we use only the Mangekyo version, then we lose our eyes. So I do not use it as well. So is it the same with you? As Naruto simply shrugged his shoulder and said, well, to be honest, I do not know much about the Sharingan, though I only activated it so that I can surprise you and get you off guard. Though I have to learn about it from you, sensei. As for the Mangekyo, I doubt it that I will go blind or anything. I think that my eyes in time will turn into the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. As Itachi narrowed his eyes towards Naruto, not even his own clan members knew about the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, but for now, he just simply put it at the back of his head. Wanted to ask Naruto later on the date, as Itachi nodded and said, well, don't be careless with those eyes, they possess enormous power, and one are tend to go arrogant with such power. As Naruto smiled and said, well, then I have a great sensei, you know. He will teach me better. As Itachi simply smiled, as Naruto nodded and went off. As for Itachi, he finally arrived at the Hokage's office as all the teams were giving their, small tests. As Kushina arrived, well, Lord Hokage, Team 7, pass. I think that Sakura has a lot of talent in the Genjutsu, as her chakra control is really great, so she might be a good medic as well. As he nodded, and then he looked towards Asuma, who gave the report telling about Inoshika-cho, as Minato was expecting a lot from that team, and then it was finally Itachi, as he said, what about you, Itachi? As Itachi smiled and said, well, Lord Hokage, my team passed. As everyone looked towards Itachi, it was the first team ready for the report, as Itachi sighed and said, well, first of all, I gave them a fake, you can say, small test. I told them that how the first test is always about the teamwork, as everyone looked towards each other if Itachi has gone mad or something like it. But before anyone could complain that, Itachi has already told them about the purpose of the test, so they will work together. As Itachi put a hand towards Hokage, but before he could speak anything, as Itachi said, well, Lord Hokage, allow me to complete it first. I told them that how they are here together, so I told them that how he already know that he worked together, but then it was a secret test, just telling them that how they have already passed, and then showing them a single bell, telling them that how he just want to see that who's the strongest of all of them among, already telling them, as he told Lord Hokage that his siblings already knew about the purpose of the test before, so if he had just showed them two bells and with the same team, they might have worked together, but he simply complicated things together, telling them that how they have already passed, and then being a secret test, wanted to see who's the strongest, already knowing the rivalry between two of his siblings, as well as Naruto's curiosity in the eyes of Sasuke and Sasuke wanted to prove themselves against him to him, splitting them even further. This really shocked everyone. It was genius, but what to be expected from a genius, generation genius, while on the other hand Tsunade as well as Jiraiya were also there. As then Itachi said, well, my team passed, and I dare say it, Lord Hokage, but I think that my team has even greater potential than the legendary Sanis. As at this, everyone's eyes widen, while on the other hand, Jiraiya and Tsunade simply scoff at that as Jiraiya speak up. Do you honestly believe it, Itachi? Do you have that much faith in your siblings and that student of yours, huh? As Itachi looked towards Jiraiya with a blank expression and said, well, my siblings are pretty strong and I know about their talent. Itachi said, while on the other hand, Naruto, I must say that he is even greater of a prodigy than I am. This really shocked everyone, even Minato as well as Kushina, as Itachi speak up. Well, the day he arrived back at the village, I already knew about it because I used to meet him when he was in this village and he was able to catch me off guard, and in today's test, his talent in seal might even outclass you, Jiraiya, as Jiraiya was now getting angrier with each and every passing second. As he said, well, his work of art with seals, he can even store chakra or the regular, you can say, jutsus within a small seal. As he explained about the kunai as well as the wind chakra, which simply engulfs the kunais, as well as two, you can say, jutsus sealed in a kunai seal, as everyone was in listening in amazement. And then he did not tell them about the Kekkei Genkai, which Naruto actually hold, not for now at least, and then about the different things as well as the paralysis as well as chakra draining seal of such a level that not even his Sharingan detected it, as Jiraiya. But before anyone could say, Jiraiya finally speak up. I don't believe it, not even a bit, especially not that kid. I know about him. I am his godfather, for God's sake, and I know that he did not have any talent whatsoever. I remember it all. As now, Itachi was a bit angry, visibly, as he said, oh really now? Did you even bother to train him? To wanted to know him? How much of a prodigy he actually was? No. I already know about your neglectance, Jiraiya, and about it as well, Lady Tsunade. As Tsunade was also about to speak in angry voice. But both of them simply shut their mouth. After all, they didn't know about a single thing about the kid. As Itachi calmed himself down and said, well, this is my report, Lord Hokage. I have nothing else to say. As Minato nodded, happy that this small, you can say, conversation did not turn into a battle or anything like it, as everyone was wondering if this team actually had that much of a talent. Here, they already know about the prodigies of Uchiha's Sasuke as well as Sasuke Uchiha, and they escaped the firstborn of Hokage, though at first it was difficult for them to listen it, but they thought that Itachi was a bit, as you can say, telling them, but they did not want to believe it. But for now, they have surprises to come in the near future. Okay guys, here I will leave this part. Hope you guys like it. Wait a minute, just here. Now, let us go to Naruto as he was walking in the village at the Ichiraku ramen, and then he noticed that someone was, you can say, watching him. As Naruto turned around, as he had already felt that chakra signature, as he simply vanished and then arrived at the behind as someone was watching him, as he put a hand on her shoulder, and then the girl looked around at she had black eyes as well as black hairs. She almost got flipped, but Naruto caught her from her, you can say, waist, and then caught her, the style within a dance, as it was none other than Sasuke, as she was blushing crazy as Naruto looked into her eyes, and for some moment he even lost there, as Naruto simply shook his head and said, Sasuke, what are you doing here? I thought you went home, didn't you? Sasuke simply blushed and said, well Naruto-kun, I was going in the village, wanted to eat something, the Uchiha district is that way and I just wanted to be in here, wanted to eat something, She was blushing a little as Naruto smiled and said, well, I was going to the Ichiraku ramen. If you want, you can join me. I know that you have nothing better to do. As Sasuke nodded and said, well, my brother is pretty boring. He always liked to train and all, even though I like training, but I always go to the village to eat some things, As Naruto smiled as she was stuttering a little, as Naruto said, well, Sasuke, I must say that you are really strong of a Konoichi. When I look towards Sakura or Ino, they were not that special, so I thought that Konoichis were not trained that good, but I must say that you are pretty strong. As Sasuke simply smiled and said, well, they are pretty useless, if I must say. They always, are over my brother, and I really hated that. As Naruto smiled and said, well, possessive sister, huh? As Sasuke simply laughed and says, well, it is not that, but they are really, really annoying, and I don't want my brother to be around someone as useless as well as weak as them. As Naruto laughed at that, as Sasuke looked towards Naruto. So, I wanted to ask you about things, where you were when you left the village and why did you left it in the first place. When Naruto heard it, his eyes, you can say, changed color for a small moment as she saw red with its slit, but then it changed back as she saw the serious expression which Naruto had in his eyes as well as in his face, but then it changed back as he smiled at her and said, well, do you honestly want to know about it, huh? As she simply shook her head and said, well, if you're not comfortable at telling me, then there's no need. You can hold your secrets. As Naruto smiled and said, well, you are my team. You are in my team, so it is only fair that I will tell you. You can tell Sasuke as well if you want to, though I do not care about it that much. As Sasuke speak up, and aren't Man Mito your siblings, and where are you going in that direction? I know you're going to eat there, but still, do you live in the Hokage monument? Or, the Hokage compound? As Naruto was looking in no direction towards the village as he said, well, it begins when. Okay guys, here I will left this part, hope you guys like it. If you guys want the next part, please subscribe, and the like goal is 350 likes, and for the comments it is going to be 200 comments, or didn't I say 150 comments, or whatever I said before. Those are the comments. Please guys do so that I can upload the next part today. Otherwise, once I get out of my room, I don't think that I'm going to record again or come in this room again. So it really depends on the timing. So please guys do that so that I can upload the next part today. So peace, and peace.